Okay, so welcome to lesson 2 of SketchUp 8. So we're going to load SketchUp, which just take a moment to do. Don't forget, when you load SketchUp, normally you may find the first time you load it that it asks you to choose a template. So make sure that you navigate down in the templates and you're looking for this one here, millimeters architectural design. As default it's in feet and inches because this is an American program, so make sure that you select millimeters, otherwise all of your drawings will be in feet and inches and that will cause you trouble later. So let's load SketchUp. I've already set my toolbar down the left hand side here. So just to remind you, if you don't have that full set of tools, you can go to View, Toolbars, and then select Large Toolbars. Okay, I'm just going to again delete the woman out of the center, and I'm just going to load up the block that we did as part of our previous lesson. So just get this block. So we've now got the block, which was 100 millimeters by 150 millimeters by 50 millimeters high. So now we're going to have a look at some other basic tools. So the first tool that I think is really useful is the divide tool. It's an unusual one maybe to start with at this point, but it means that if you can divide a line, you can start right from the beginning drawing precisely. So if I use the select tool up here in the top left hand corner, I can go over to any line and select it. So if it goes blue, you've selected it. If you go to a surface, it would select it and you'd get a series of dots. So I'm going to start with select this line here, and I'm going to right click my mouse, and you'll notice down the bottom here we've got the divide tool. So as a default it would divide the line into two segments. You see the square in the middle there. If you move away from that center, you get an increased number of segments, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So I'm just going to divide my piece into 3 segments. Okay. Now I've got that divided into 3 segments, I'm going to use this tool here, which is the line tool, and now I can navigate along this line, and you'll notice that as I come along I'll get a green circle and it will say end point. At that point I know that I'm 1/3 of the way along. Now if I drag my mouse across the cube, I'll get a green line, and again this is a great feature of SketchUp. It's intuitively asking me, do I want to snap to that line in the green plane. That way I can guarantee that my lines are parallel in my cube. Okay, and again as I come across to the next edge, it asks me, do I want to connect it to the next edge? So I'm just going to let go with the left hand button and that will connect. Similarly again, I can come along to the next end point and come across with a green line, and then when I get across I've got to be a little bit careful here, making sure that I connect up to the correct place. Okay, it's green, it's also calling it a midpoint, but that doesn't matter, it is correct. Okay, so now if I rotate round, I can see I've divided that up into 3. Next tool we're going to have a go at is a circle tool, but before we do that we'll just show you one of the features of SketchUp and the way it divides. So I'm now going to select the push-pull tool, and notice now if I hover over any one of these 3 sections, it will allow me to pull any one of those sections up. So now I'm going to pull one of these sections up, select it and pull it up, and again in the bottom right hand corner, that's down here, I can select the distance. So I'm going to come up 10 millimeters and press enter on the keyboard. Okay, so next I'm going to use the circle tool, introduce you to that, and for this we're going to look at placing the circle somewhere in the center of this rectangle here. Again, a couple of possible ways we could do this. We could use the line tool, and if we come along this line, when we get to the center it will automatically select the midpoint. So I'm going to use that and draw myself a line in the green plane. Whoop, just went wrong there. So I'll just undo that. Great thing about this, you can undo a series right the way back to the original line that you drew. You don't just have one step. So I'm just going to undo and start again there. Okay, in fact what I'll do is I'll just rotate this drawing around so I can see it a little better. Come to the midpoint, click, come along in the green plane, and then I'm looking for the edge on the further side. Similarly, I can come along this line to the midpoint, and then I can come across to the center. Now I can use my circle tool, and it will obviously intuitively go towards that center there, and I want a radius of 10. Press enter. Okay, at this point I'm going to introduce you to the eraser tool. Absolutely great tool to get rid of any of the geometry that is not going to help you in your further drawing. Okay, so I've now got my circle. Back to the push-pull tool, and I'm going to select now this small peg, and this one is going to come up 20 millimeters. It's just outside my drawing, so I'm going to use the tool up here, which is called Zoom Extents, and this will just bring the whole drawing back into the middle of the screen. Useful if you've been working on a large drawing and you just want to find all of the parts that are on the screen. So Zoom Extents just brings it back into position. So there we go, we've covered dividing and accurately positioning circles and push-pull and erasing. So that was the end of lesson 2.